So as we all know by now, former President Jimmy Carter has been diagnosed with cancer. The situation is pretty serious because the cancer has also spread. Now, the first report on this said, don't worry, doctors are predicting a full recovery. But then all the articles I saw after that first report indicated, it kind of spread quite a bit, and that's not really true. And then on top of that, he's also 90 years old, and when you're 90 years old, obviously it's much more difficult for your body to fight it than if you're younger. So he's currently undergoing radiation treatment, but in typical Jimmy Carter fashion, he showed the heart of a champion, and he went on Sunday to teach his Bible class in rural Georgia. In fact, not only did he teach, he taught twice. He did 2 separate classes because the crowds were overflowing. Some people traveled all night to get there and listen to him. So Raw Story reports on this. They say, the theme of the lesson was love. He said, quote, "We are studying the most important aspect of Christianity. I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." I think he's quoting from the Sermon on the Mount there. Now, he mentioned his conflict resolution work, Raw Story continues, including the Camp David peace agreement and negotiating a nuclear program with North Korea, and said meditation can help resolve any conflict, be it in between 2 countries or 2 people. So I have to say, man, when I read this article, I teared up a little bit because Jimmy Carter is just a good person. You know, that's how he strikes me. This is the guy who got peace between Egypt and Israel. Under him, this is a very important fact that people don't discuss enough, but under him, the military didn't fire a single shot. Not one. Now, understand, I was skeptical of that when I first heard it. And I had to go do my own research here because I know, unlike many people, I actually know that the U.S. was always engaged in, CIA covert wars in South America, overthrowing governments, putting in dictators, and all that. That's all true. But it's a fact that did not occur under Jimmy Carter. It is a fact that there was not a single shot fired by the U.S. Army overseas when he was president, and he deserves endless credit for that. And since he left office, let's not forget this, in possibly his biggest achievement, the dude borderline cured guinea worm. Now, this is a terrible disease, a terrible parasite, which puts so many people through excruciating pain. It's like, it builds in your gut. It's this worm which fucking eats you alive from the inside. It's from drinking water that's not clean. Jimmy Carter is one of very few people on the planet that gave a shit enough to actually fight to cure this, to actually do the right thing, to actually get up off of his butt and say, I'm not going to sit around any longer when we have problems that exist in the world in third world nations that can be fixed. They can be fixed. We have the technology to fix it. All you need is a water filter to get rid of guinea worm. That's it. That's it. So what did Jimmy Carter do in his foundation? They're like, okay, let's take water filters, go to these places. Now, there's a lot of skepticism, rightly, of Americans in those places because there's a legacy of imperialism that we have and all that stuff. And that's all understandable that they would be standoffish. But Jimmy Carter found a way to pierce through the skepticism and to say, look, this problem that you're facing, it can be cured, it can be fixed. All you have to do is use the water filter. Here's how you use the water filter, and we can actually move towards eradicating this disease. Guys, who does that? Who does that? I like to think I'm a good person. I'm sure you guys listening right now like to think you're a good person. When was the last time you did anything that's 1/1,000,000th of that? I certainly didn't. I yapped my mouth on fucking YouTube. I mean, I can't stress enough the fact that this is a human being who cares about human beings, and then all he did on top of that was act. He's a human being who cares about human beings, and he decided, instead of me just sitting here caring about human beings, I am going to act. So he's the kind of person who's a true role model that people should try to copy. Because here's the reality, man. When you reach the end of your life, when you're a person like Jimmy Carter, you can look back and say, I did the right thing. You can rest assured that you will be remembered and there's a legacy of positive things that follow you. As opposed to, we could list them all off here, as opposed to people like Dick Cheney, George Bush, all the fucking neocons, all the religious fundamentalists in all the different religions, all these people who their entire lives preach bigotry and hatred and separation and condemnation and intolerance. When they rest their head on their pillow, when they're getting up there in age and they're reaching the end of their life, it's something different. You didn't do the right thing on this earth. And Jimmy Carter is an example for all people who are secular humanists who want to do well and want to do right around the world. He's an example for all liberal Christians who want to do that. He's an example for all liberal Muslims who want to do that. Malala Yousafzai comes to mind. So all I can say is I really hope that Jimmy Carter gets better. But even if he doesn't, he can rest assured that there's a positive legacy that he created, and all of us will remember it.